Good morning to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Today's editorial is all about the prediction of monsoon by the IMD. We all know June to September, it is a time of monsoon, and every year I do a few editorials based on the monsoon, before the monsoon, during the monsoon, after the monsoon. And this is related to the monsoon, prediction of the monsoon, to what extent we are going to receive the rainfall. And a familiar topic, many words are quite familiar, but when you know that the editorial is about monsoon prediction by the IMD, you have to guess the broad framework. What could be the broad framework? It may talk about whether the monsoon this year going to be positive or negative at the outset, and it may also touch the sources. We have two sources. One is positive, the other one is negative. One is El Nino, the other one is La Nina. The impact of these two, and third factor also, because agriculture is a backbone of Indian economy. Many farmers depend on agriculture, rain-fed agriculture, what impact it makes on the farmers, and also based on dwelling into the past. Last year, there was a disaster in the state of Kerala. Based on that, it may caution this year the state governments should be prepared to meet any eventuality. This is a broad framework. Let us start with the question, what is this editorial about? Very good. Naidu, Paidi, Anusha, they have already. Here, this editorial discusses the forecast, an important word, for the monsoon season in India in 2024 and its potential impact on various aspects of life in the country. It is all about the monsoon prediction and also the potential impact, possible impact on various aspects of life in the country. But here there's one important word. When we come across certain words, we have to recollect what we have learned, and that is nothing but being a smart learner. Here, a few words: cast, cost, forecast, telecast, broadcast, hurt. All these have the same form: present, past, past participle. Now Tripura Sundari has joined. Good. Here we have all the words, same form: present, past, past participle. Cast, cast, cast. Forecast, forecast, forecast. The form does not change. That is important. You have to recollect. And its potential impact, possible impact on various aspects of life in the country. I appreciate that. Very good. What is the tone of the editorial? The tone of the editorial is informative, cautionary, and urgent because monsoon is round the corner, expected in the first week of June. First, it is informative. How it is going to be this year based on the predictions of the IMD, Indian Meteorological Department, and also cautionary. The states have to be cautious, careful to meet any eventuality because it is the next month, first week of June. They have to be ready or prepared to meet any eventuality. Based on that, urgent. Three important words: informative, cautionary, and urgent. Coming to the how does it start? Rain shocks. You can take it this way: rain shocks. Shocks as a verb. Rain shocks together compound noun. Either way, the word is shock. On the monsoon in 2024, the focus keyword shocks, shocks because of rains. Rain shocks on the monsoon in 2024. But what is the main idea of this editorial? India's farmers must account for a stronger monsoon while sowing. This is a bit difficult to understand because account for has two or three meanings. In this context, it means first I'll tell the regular meaning. Account for means give the reason, to explain the reason for something or the cause of something. Account for your actions means give the reasons for your actions. But in this context, it means something like consider. India's farmers must consider a stronger monsoon while sowing. I'm sure you all know the meaning of the word sow, sowing, to put seeds in or on the ground so that plants will grow. Here, must again, you have to recollect it has two functions. One goes with personal obligation, Regularly we come across this. Here, a personal obligation imposed by the editor or the writer or the editorial, and the other one to convey the idea something is compulsory. Here, India's farmers must account for a stronger monsoon, but here it is not the same meaning. Here it means consider. India's farmers or Indian farmers must consider a stronger monsoon while sowing, based on the prediction by the IMD. The India Meteorological Department IMD has forecast. This is the most important thing you have to consider and grasp. Has forecast. Which tense is it? Present perfect tense. Here, usually any perfect tense, we use a main verb in the past participle form. A lot in many exams they've given has forecasted. That is wrong. Has forecast. All the three same forms. The India Meteorological Department IMD has forecast what? A bountiful monsoon. Bounty is a noun form, a positive word. Bountiful adjective. Large in amount. Generally we use the expression nature's bounty. Nature's bounty means nature's gift, large scale. And you have to recollect two words in this context. One is boon, the other one bane. Boon is positive, bane is negative. Monsoon you can take. Is it a boon or a bane? Positive or negative? Bountiful monsoon, a positive word. At the outset, it starts in a positive note. The prediction of the IMD this year has forecast a bountiful monsoon, means in large quantities. Rainfall from June to September. What is the time period when it comes to monsoon? Onset of monsoon in the first week of June. It goes till September, but the peak months are July and August. Peak months, July, August. Rainfall from June to September is expected. We expect something present tense active voice. Something is expected. This is a present tense passive voice. He is expected to be 6% more than the 87 centimeters, which is considered to be the average rainfall the country receives during these months. What is the average rainfall? 87 centimeters, which is considered, again, passive voice, to be the average rainfall the country receives during these months. And this time it is going to be 6% more than 87 centimeters, which is the average. Gift also you can say bounty. Vijay, very good. Has many meanings. This is a fairly bold forecast. Fairly is an adverb. Here, usually offline classes, I tell students when I teach adverbs, I give two words. There's no space here. One is fairly. Pairs, I teach pairs of adverbs. These two are a pair. What is the reason? They have the same meaning. Fairly, rather, both mean moderate. Same meaning, moderate. But there is a subtle difference. What is a subtle difference? Fairly is a positive word, rather is a negative word. I usually give the example he is a fairly rich, means rich is positive, fairly rich. Rather lazy, lazy negative, rather. Here fairly bold forecast, something positive based on that fairly bold forecast by the agency that typical in its April forecast avoids suggesting either surplus or deficit rain. Avoids, it is in present. The IMD, the sentence says a fairly bold forecast. That is one thing. And also, typically means average. In its April forecast, it avoids something. What does it avoid? Suggesting either surplus or deficit rain. Surplus means excess, an amount that is more than is needed. One simple word, excess. Either it does not suggest, it avoids suggesting either surplus, excess, or deficit, lack of. Given that temperatures in many southern, now what is the present scenario? Right now we are experiencing something unbearable, not tolerable. Given that temperatures in many southern states are soaring, soar has two meanings. One meaning increase, Another meaning to fly high in the sky. Usually soar. It goes with birds, especially birds of prey. The birds are eagle, hawk. All these they soar in the sky, fly high in the sky. And stoke here soaring means going up and up. And stoking heat waves. Stoke means something like add fuel to the fire, stir up something, to stir up and feed fuel to a fire furnace. But in this context, stoking heat waves means a very strong increasing heat waves. This is a present scenario. Given that temperatures in many southern states are soaring and stoking heat waves, encouraging heat waves, the anticipation of bountiful rainfall might sound like welcome news. Anticipation of bountiful rainfall by the IMD may sound, you can say, might sound. I will tell the difference, but here there's one important word anticipation. Anticipate has two meanings. One meaning to imagine or expect that something will happen. Anticipate something, expect something. Anticipation, imagination, prediction, all these words you can. Stoke means increase. Very good, Anisha. Anticipation of what? Bountiful rainfall might sound like welcome news. Right now, we are experiencing heat waves and soaring temperatures. In this, at this juncture, someone says this year we are going to receive heavy rainfall. We feel very happy. Might sound like welcome news. What is this word might? Might has two or three meanings. First, you have to contrast the two helping verbs may, might. Both talk about possibility. Possibility, possibility. But chances more. We use may. Here, chances less. We use might. Might, possibility, chances are less. We also use could and should to talk about possibility where chances are less. And here, one more meaning of the word might. Might, noun, means a power. What is the adjective form? Mighty. He defeated the enemy with all his might, means with all his power. Mighty means adjective, powerful. Which part of speech is it? When you read the stories you come across, once upon a time there was a mighty king. Mighty king means what? Very powerful king. That you have to recollect. There is, however, a dark cloud to this silver lining. Silver lining is a positive idiom. Silver lining means in a difficult situation you see some hope or you see something positive. Then you say silver lining, something is a silver lining. But here it says, there is, however, a dark cloud to this silver lining. Here, heavy rainfall, positive. There's something negative attached to that. Based on that is this expression, an interesting expression. There is, however, a dark cloud to this silver lining. What is a dark cloud? The IMD's climate model suggests a 30% chance of excess rains. Only 30% chance of excess rains, defined as more than 10% of what is usual. This 30% chances, whatever the IMD says, more than 10% of what is usual. Average, more than that, 10% more than that. By comparison, its expectation of above normal rains is 31%, defined as between 5% and 10% of what is normal. That means it is very narrow. Very good. Rains, cloudburst, thunderstorm, raining cats and dogs, downpour, drizzle. Oh, so many words you have written. Good, I appreciate. The slim difference. Slim has two different meanings. The difference is very slim. One meaning, someone is very thin. We use the word slim. In this context, slim means very small difference. The slim difference suggests that excessive rains are as likely as merely above normal showers. Excessive rains does not mean something we are going to receive heavy rainfall. It means above normal showers, as likely as merely above normal showers, because the difference is very slight. Most of these rains are expected in the second half of the monsoon. As I said, when we talk about, have done so many editorials, the monsoon period, June to September, but July, August, these are the peak months, the second half. Most of these rains are expected. We expect most of these rains, present tense active voice. Most of these rains are expected, present tense passive voice. Most of these rains are expected in the second half of the monsoon or August and September. Perhaps they have shifted. August, September, second half. June, July, first half. The IMD's models forecast for this are premised. Premised here means base an argument on something. Theory or undertaking you base on something, premised on something. It takes a preposition on. Forecasts for this are premised on the development of a La Nina or a converse. Last time also we got this. Converse means opposite of the El Nino, which more often than not results in a decrease in monsoon rainfall. The La Nina is also expected to be helped by a positive Indian Ocean dipole characterized by a cooler than normal Indian Ocean in the east as compared to the west that helps bring rain to several states in southern India. Here again, helps. Helps is a causative verb. Make, help, important ones. Those students, I offline classes, I teach more. I give more examples. But here, exam point of view, two at any cost, you have to remember. One make, the other help. These are known as causative verbs. There's an important rule. What is it? In active voice, causative rules never take the preposition to. They may take in passive voice. For example, he made us to wait. Wrong. He made us wait. We were made to wait. Passive voice we can use. Helps to bring. Wrong. Helps bring rain to several states in southern India. What does the sentence talk about? Excuse me. The sentence talks about the two sources we have. One is El Nino, a negative impact. The other one, La Nina, positive impact. And this time, La Nina aided by, helped by another phenomenon. What is that? Ocean dipole. Because of these two, we can expect cooler than normal Indian Ocean in the east as compared to the west. That in turn helps bring rain to several states in southern India. The IMD is silent on the quantity of rains in June and July, but expects neutral conditions. The IMD does not talk about the first phase of monsoon, the 2 months, June, July. It talks about the second phase, August, September. The IMD is silent on the quantity of rains in June and July, but expects neutral conditions, neither El Nino nor La Nina, to be prevalent that time. Prevalent means to exist, existing very commonly or happening often. Two arid monsoon months. Arid means a dry, very dry without enough rain for plants. Two arid monsoon months, June, July, and torrential rains in the last two, that is August, September. Torrential rains, already someone has posted. If it rains heavily, we say downpour. Rain in torrents, rain cats and dogs. All these you have to recollect. And torrential rains in the last two may be fine for agriculture, but is likely to result in extreme floods. Torrential rains are good for agriculture, but contrasting information is likely to result in extreme floods and has been observed in the past. Has been observed, present perfect passive voice. We have observed something, something has been observed by us, present perfect passive voice. As I said, it dwells into the past. This is a sentence. Immense damage to lives, livelihoods, and infrastructure. When we experience floods or inundation, what is the negative impact of floods or inundation? Immense damage, huge damage to lives, loss of lives, and livelihoods, loss of professions, and infrastructure. Obviously, that is the one that is going to take the beating, bear the brunt of it. The 2018 floods, to substantiate that statement, what happened in the past, a typical example, something that happened in the past. The 2018 floods in Kerala continue to be a reminder of how vulnerable India is to natural disasters. 2018, not last year, 2018 floods, a reminder of how vulnerable India is to natural disasters. Vulnerable, we have got so many times, able to be easily physically or mentally hurt, to be in a weak situation, so that people take advantage and try to exploit you. In is to natural disasters, disaster, an unfortunate incident. You can think of words like disaster, catastrophe, mishap, unfortunate incident. All these words you have to think of. You can also use vulnerable, not exactly dangerous, peril, jeopardy. That's a different group. While an update to the forecast is expected around the end of May, that is next month, while an update to the forecast is expected around the end of May, it may change. The IMD's current signal must be urgently heeded. Urgently heeded, must be. Here it is in passive voice. Heed we have got a few times. Listen to or pay attention to, advise or warning. What is that? States, especially states. States must, at the soonest, earlier the better, sooner the better, drop emergency plans from their disaster management modules to bolster infrastructure, prepare evacuation plans, conduct audits of the structural stability of dams and their distress signaling network. States have to, based on this prediction, states have to be ready to meet any eventuality. How can they do that? First, they have to drop emergency plans from their disaster management modules. Why should they do that? To bolster. We have got many a time to support or improve something. Infrastructure should be strong. Prepare evacuation plans. Imagine a particular place got inundated, then people should be evacuated from that place, shipped from one place to another place. Conduct audits of the structural stability of dams. That's also very important. And the distress signaling network. Distress means extreme worry, sadness, or pain. We got this during the COVID time. Editorials, they used distress of the migrant workers, a typical combination you have to recollect and remember. And ensure that broader early warning networks are in place. All the networks are in place, they have to ensure that, make sure. Also, India's farmers, a majority of whom continue to be dependent on rain-fed agriculture. We all know that Indian farming, Indian agriculture is rain-fed. India's farmers, a majority of whom continue to be dependent on rain-fed agriculture, must also be informed of the possibility of a stronger second half of the monsoon and incorporate these in their sowing operations. Main ideas being reiterated. They have to be informed, the farmers have to be informed so that they keep in mind the second half of the monsoon where the IMD predicts heavy rainfall, and based on that they have to incorporate this, they have to incorporate these ideas while sowing. They have to consider these while sowing, doing sowing operations or while sowing the seeds. I think it ends on that particular note. Yes, main idea is being reiterated. Farmers must account for strong monsoon while sowing. Same thing, different wording, different sentence pattern. That's all about today's editorial, a familiar one, but do remember an important editorial because monsoon related, many a time they have given passages, climate, monsoon, and natural disasters. You can expect either in prelims or mains. If you are familiar with the context, the vocabulary, lexical terms, word combinations, it will be easy for you to answer many questions effortlessly in the exam. That's all for today. Do remember to subscribe and share. Thanks for being with me till the fag end of the session. Join at 7:30 to work on mini mocks, where you work on comprehension skill, grammar, and effective English. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.